crazy? Is this a lot of books? Well, fortunately, a lot of these are carryovers, so it's not like the entire books, but, well, we'll talk about that later. Welcome to my May TBR. This is Coffee, Love, and Books, and let's get into whatever this is. Okay, so I'm going to start with carryovers from last month, things I did not finish. And since I still have a few days left in the month of April, I am just assuming I'm going to finish 3 certain books that I'm working on right now, but that will be in my April wrap up, which will be coming in a few days. Today I'm talking about what I'm most certainly going to be reading or attempting to get to in the month of May. Yay! So I have a lot more physical books this month, by the time this is uploaded. And they are quite tall. It's a lot of books, but fortunately I have started a lot of these already, and hopefully we'll finish some this month. So without further ado, let's start with the very top, which is actually Two Towers, but is representing Fellowship of the Ring, which I'm going to be listening to on audiobook. I did listen to a lot of it in March, but as I discussed on my reading vlog video, I had a few setbacks and it was not the entire audiobook, so I'm going to be backtracking, listening to the entire Fellowship of the Ring, and I am currently in the middle of finishing Return of the King. I should have that done by the end of this month, but I wanted to backtrack, listen to the entire Fellowship, and got that entire experience. So that will be my audiobook for this month. Next one is Hiding Place. I started this. I did not get far at all. My hope is that it's going to be finished this month, or at least that I'll make good headway. I really want to read this book. I discussed it in my April TBR, and yes, this is a good nonfiction. I really want to read it. Just need to get around to it. Next one is Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. I have to actually read 5 chapters of this today, so that should be fun. I have like this much left of it for the month of May. Not much at all. I'm really almost finished, and it's a school thing, so I'm reading at the school pace, and I'm excited to see what happens, because it's like, I think I know what's going to happen, but I don't want it to happen, and I'm really sad, okay? Alright. So, the next one, which is a school one, and I think this is like the prettiest edition I've ever seen. I'm absolutely not annotating this edition, but I think it's gorgeous, and I just dropped it. I think it's gorgeous. I am so excited to read Frankenstein. It's like probably one of the most hyped up books by my English teacher, and I want to read it. I'm so excited. Next one, Enchantress from the Stars. This is a carryover. But I've not started it, so I'm not going to really say it's a carryover. It's just I didn't read it this past month. I didn't get to it. And I'm sad about that, but there were other books I was more passionate about getting done, and that is that. And I'm really excited to get to this because mix of sci-fi and fantasy, yay! Okay, so the next few, I'm switching order because I have an assignment for Latin that I have to read 2 books on ancient Rome, and the first book is one I may have read when I was in grade school. I don't know. It's called The Ides of April. It's like a middle grade book. It hopefully should be an easy read. It's only like 160 pages, so it's not a big deal. But this is a school assignment too, but it's more freelance, so I chose the books. And this is, I believe, a first time read. I don't know really what it's about. I believe it's obviously a historical fiction. I think it's a murder mystery or something. But anyway. The next one is Voice of the Wind from the Mark of the Lion series. This is such a good book. This is from my favorite series and I love it, and it's a reread because it's like, it was a book on ancient Rome. It can be fiction, it can be anything, and this is fiction and it's about ancient Rome and I love it, and it's just such a good series. This series is about a slave girl named Hadassah. She is taken from her home in Israel to Rome as a slave, and she is a Christian Jew. It is not popular in Rome at all, and it's basically just her story, and she's just such an amazing character, and I cannot wait to reread this because I haven't reread it in its entirety in about 4 years, and it's one of my favorite books of all time. So yes, I'm so excited. Okay, and the last one, which I'm saying is new because I didn't really expect to get it done this past month. It is, I'm trying to find the beginning of the book. It's Emma by Jane Austen. I think I'm just going to do this Jane Austen a month thing because I love her so much. Her books are hard to get started on, but once you get to like the middle of it, you can't put it down, and they're just all such enchanting and comforting stories, and I love it, and I will never get tired of Jane Austen. Ever, ever, ever. I'm excited about Emma because a lot of people have said it's their favorite Jane Austen book, and who knows, it might even be better than Pride and Prejudice, but I'm not putting any money on it because Pride and Prejudice is amazing. Okay, so that's the end of my physical books for this next month. I have a few ebooks. My carryover ebook is this book called Child Thief. It was not in my TBR. I did not expect to read it, but it seemed really cool. It's about Peter Pan kind of as the villain, and it's really interesting premise. He's kind of stealing kids, and I started reading it. I'm maybe 20% through it. I initially stopped reading it because there was so much cussing at the beginning of that book. It was so hard to read, and it was not fun. And once I got, like, I thought I was going to quit it because it wasn't even on my TBR, and I wasn't really enjoying it at all. And then I was like, I wonder what happens. Why is Peter stealing these kids? And so I decided to skim it a bit, and then after that, the cussing was not nearly as bad. So I decided I'm going to keep going on this. I'm not reading it really, like, intensely. I'm not that passionate about finishing it, but it is an interesting premise, and I have heard really good things about it, so I'm going to keep going with it. And then the next ebook is Paper Towns by John Green. I read Fault in Our Stars maybe a year and a half ago, and it's so good, and I really liked that book, and I thought it brought so much cool insight into many parts of my life, and it was cool, and I love John Green, and I love the book that I have read, and I'm excited to read another one. So, yes. Okay. That is my May TBR. I'm very nervous for this month because, well, you see, I have AP testing, and that is probably going to consume a lot of my thoughts and time and all that jazz, but a lot of these books are school books, so I have to read them by obligation, and, you know, I'm gonna. So, yeah, I hope this month goes well. You will see sometime this week how I did on my April TBR. There is a possibility some books that I'm currently reading will be a carryover, but I think I can finish the 3 books I'm working on right now. So that was my May TBR. Be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you sometime this week with my April wrap-up. All right, goodbye!